Hey, what's up guys? Bihel here, and I'm going to create something here. I just learned how to use Sculpting in Cinema 4D these days. I was working on a project and then I just had to dive more into the Sculpting universe, and I just learned some great things using this amazing tool, and I just want to share with you just a little bit of what I learned during my project here. And I decided to create simple rock, and as you can see in the thumbnail, we're gonna create this rock, but here I'm just starting everything. Later I'm gonna print the result and use as this thumbnail that you saw on the YouTube channel. All right, so I'm gonna just start from scratch, and I don't know what the result's gonna be from now. And let's just use a cube. I'm gonna create a simple shape, and really quickly I just want to share with you that I've just released my new course, This is a Real Machine. It's a complete 3D motion graphics course where you can learn how to create this entire video from beginning to end, improving your creativity and techniques. Check out the link in the description for more information, and let's go back to the tutorial. I'm just gonna scale these down a little bit, and I'm gonna convert it into a editable poly. And now I'm going to create some more extra geometries. Maybe this one here, and I'm gonna create something really simple here. Holding Control, you can create more polygons, and I'm gonna just scale these, not too much, and maybe I can just I'm gonna select UB, and I'm gonna select these edges here, press double M, and maybe I'm gonna just create more segments here, and I'm gonna select these polygons here, like these ones at the bottom, and I can just press UB, and I'm gonna select the loop. So now I'm gonna just extrude everything. Let me just right click and extrude here, and I'm going here to, so where is it? Preserve groups. I'm gonna disable this, and now I can just maybe this is not what I want, because I want to separate these two polygons here. I'm gonna use maybe bevel instead of extrude, maybe this one here, and I can disable preserve groups. Now I have all of them separated, and I can just offset them a little bit. Alright, so now that's okay. I'm gonna just change my view and put them down, and maybe I'm gonna just make them a little bit more random. Not this one here, and rotate it. This one, okay, just make some random shape. You don't need to be so accurate, and just move them a little bit closer to the main part, because I don't want it to look like the bottom of a tree. I want it to be more rocky. So anyway, all right, I think it looks good. Very simple shape. I'm gonna subdivide it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's looking good. I'm gonna put here 1, and I want to convert this because I want more segments here. So I'm gonna just convert this one. Connect objects plus delete. Okay, I'm gonna save these file actually. I'm gonna call these rock. Okay, so now what I can do here, maybe I'm going to move a little bit these points here. I'm gonna select my soft selection because I want it to be more where is it? Here, soft selection, enable, and I'm going to increase this to 250, and maybe I can not, that was too much, maybe 180, so I can just move it even less. Maybe 100 is enough. Sorry for my noisy background. Okay. Okay, this is kind of looking more like a tree trunk instead of a rock, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep going because the main thing here, maybe we can just move these. Okay, basic and ugly shape, right? I think it's good enough. So now we need to create UV information for all of these. All of these geometry. So I'm gonna just select my layout. You have this one, UV edit. I have my full HD here because I have a very wide monitor, so I just have these preset to keep the window in the middle of my screen to keep recording it. And I'm gonna select my scope user. You can select these one here. And now we have this window, not scoped, sorry, UV edit, sorry. And now I want to create some selections here, some lines for these object. Let me just disable my, where is it? Let me just go back to my startup. And I want to disable my soft selection. Okay, let me just create the lines from here. I want to create, double click this one, and not this one. I'm going, yeah, actually this one. I want this bottom to be one separate part. Okay. Well, here we have a problem. Actually, I have to fix this because they are on top of each other. I don't want this to happen because this can mess up with the UV later. I just want the polygons to be in a good place here so we won't have any trouble later when we bake the texture from our sculpting tools. I just want them to be a little bit more far from each other. Okay. I'm doing it very roughly, but just to show you how it works, what you can achieve with this amazing tool. And if you want to make a better model, object model, you can do something more interesting. And I wish I had a faster way to select these ones because they are now looped, but that's okay. We are done here. So I want this one, and I want to select this one in the middle, and I want it to be here until the bottom. And what else can I do here? Maybe I can just select these loop here, because I want these part here separated. It's gonna work better. All right, I think this is good. I'm going to create my selection, set selection, and this, I'm gonna call this like seams. All right, that's okay. Let's go back to this UV edit interface, and now I have to select my object. You click here. Oh, sorry, I already have here my, I'm gonna delete this one, and I'm gonna create another one. So here we have, I'm going to select the polygons, and the projection tab, I want to use this frontal. And now you can go here and here, cut selected edges. You just drag and drop your seams here. And I'm gonna select this one and apply. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Maybe here, maybe here is working fine. I'm gonna just apply again to see. Okay, I think it's working good. Let me try this one. Oh, much better. Better aligned, actually. And maybe I can just select the points here. And just separate them a little bit here. Just a little bit, not too much. I think this is not necessary actually, but just to avoid some problems. Okay, this one too. They are closer. Just zoom in. You can navigate here just like you do on the viewport, in case you don't know how to do it. This one, and here. Okay. So here we have our UV setup, and I'm going to go back to my, actually I'm gonna jump to my scoped interface, and then we can start to sculpt everything. I'm gonna press in C to hide my edges and First of all, I'm going to just hit subdivide. It's going to enable my sculpting, and I'm going to click one more time to create another one. And now I'm going to create one layer. This is gonna call basic sculpting, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna start to use I'm gonna do something simple here. I just want to see how my mesh is. Actually, I think I can just jump to a higher level of subdivisions. I'm going to delete this layer, and I'm going to subdivide maybe level 4. That's what I need. Okay. So now I can create my layer, and I'm going to call this sculpting. All right. Save the file. And what I like to do here is to use the pull, and instead of just sculpt like this, maybe I can just create some basic sculpting here. Maybe 60 and pressure, something around 35, and I can just try to create something more interesting here. All right, just something more organic, and that's it. Something really simple here. All right, maybe some grab here. Let me just increase to 100. Actually, maybe here. No, that was too much. Oh, I think I'm gonna let just the way it is. I don't need to grab anything. I try to avoid these grab all the time because it pushes the geometry too much, and later when you use the displacer it might not work so well. If you want to do this kind of distortion, like moving everything, I would suggest you to do in the first step while you're modeling your object. I would suggest you to have a more accurate shape, and let the sculpting just to use more texture thing instead of changing the actual shape of the object. Okay, so now I'm going to, maybe I can just increase one more time. I just select here, subdivide one more time, and I'm going to create another level. As you can see here, my sculpting is on the level 4, and now I have level 5, so I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call these final details. Okay, and if you need to access this layer here, you just decrease here. It's going to go back to level 4, and then you go back to this one, and you don't have access to these anymore unless you increase again and go back to the level 5, so you can keep working on the final details. Okay, so let's keep working, and then I'm gonna select my pool, and I want to use the stamp. I'm gonna load my displacement map. I have great displacement map here, not a preset. Actually, I'm gonna just find my JPEG here, and let me find it. I have the project I was working on, and I'm gonna use this one here. I just saved another version of this one with more contrast, so I can have a more detailed sculpting. Let me just show you where you can find great texture. I usually visit this website here. It's called this one here, cc0textures.com. Just visit this website. You can find great textures. You just put here like rock, and then you have these rocks here. I don't remember the one I downloaded. Maybe it's let me just try to find. I think it's this one here, and then you just click here. This website is amazing, and then you can just download the texture the size you want. I downloaded, I think, this 4K version. You can download PNG or JPEG. For these sculpting projects, I would suggest you to work with 8K because you can have a great bitmap to create a great resolution for your project. It gets heavier, but you'll have a better result for sure. So just download the way you, the one you prefer. And let's go back to the sculpting, and I have my stem selected here, and I have this option here in my settings. As you can see here, draw mode is in freehand, and I'm gonna use this drag rectangle. I like to do it, and I like to use it, sorry. And here I need to increase my pressure to something around 2000. And you don't need to worry about the size, since you are gonna drag and scale. And let's see the magic happening. As you can see, you start to have some great textures. As you can see here, we have some low resolution. This is not so good. Maybe we need to increase one more time my the subdivisions, and I don't have access to these final details again. I'm gonna just create another one, and this one's gonna be the final details. Okay, later I can just delete this one, and let's keep working on the sculpting, and then I'm gonna test again. Oh, as you can see, we have a much more accurate rock texture. Okay, much more detailed, and you can just drag and drop all the time. Okay, it's just a matter of, you can just rotate. It's really amazing. This is the way I like to use sculpting, basically. And I'm going to try to do something faster. If you want to create something more inner, inside of the rock, like a hole, you just hold Control. It's going to be inner sculpting instead of outer. Here you can see it's going out, and if I select Control, it's going to create a hole. And then you can just sculpt the way you want. You can do it bigger, and then you can just put more on top of each other to randomize even more your shape. And this is really awesome. Okay, I'm gonna do something really rough so we can see. Alright, I'm gonna just finish these final parts here, and maybe I can just increase the pressure so I can have something more, maybe a stronger rock, maybe some more volume here. I don't know, let's just test it, and maybe 4,000. Let's check it. Okay, maybe here in the corner, maybe here I can do something holding control to create a hole. I think it's not so beautiful. Maybe just like this. All right. All right, so now we have a rock. I think it's looking good. Could be better, of course, could be better, but maybe this is what we want. And this is kind of doing a mess here. Maybe I can just make something subtle here at the bottom, just to give some more bumps at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with it. And now I can just maybe, let me just save the file, and now I'm gonna bake this texture. This is a good thing to do now. You can work on the bottom if you want, but I'm gonna just keep as it is, like this. And select your mesh, and then go here's bake scoped objects, and here. As you can see, by default is on TIFF. You have other options. You can work with JPEG. Maybe it's going to create a lower file, and you can work on 8K. I think it's going to work fine. And here you can let everything by default, and here you have to save. I'm going to save it here. Textures, and I'm gonna call these rock. Okay, so now you just go here in this tab, and here these are the levels you created for your subdivisions, and here you want to keep on the top level, like we are in the level 6. And here sometimes, depending, if you work with gaming, you need a very low geometry, but in this case maybe we can just use the level 2 of the subdivision, so we can have a dense geometry to work better with texture. But if you don't want, you just can keep in this same level here. It's gonna work fine. And that's it. Let me just and I want to save my displacement and my normal. Usually in my displacement, by default here, it's gonna save the vector displacement, the one that uses more colors, and I want to create with the black and white version. And I'm going to use this intensity. I think this is going to work fine. And the normal texture you can just keep as it is. And as we created the UV mapping, you can just let this one off in case you don't have created the UV map for your object. You just can select cubic or angle. Maybe cubic is gonna work fine. But I would suggest you to create your UV firstly. If you have a complex object, it's going to be wise to do it. before sculpting. And as we have already set up the UV, I'm gonna just keep this off. I don't want the ambient occlusion, and that's all you gotta do. I'm gonna save here, and let's bake everything. We have the displacement, and now it is creating the normal map. Okay, so now it's creating my object, my geometry, my new geometry in the level 2. And I can just go back to my startup interface, and we have here this one, which is the one we sculpted. I'm gonna hide this. Before I can just select these and put on the level 0, and now I can hide it. So now we have these geometry, which is the one with the level 2. And it has created my material with all the displacement applied, displacement and the normal map, as you can see here. And we have the displacement, and let's just hit render and see how it's working. So here it is. Amazing. And this is how I created my last project. I can't share with you right now. It was a chocolate bar. It worked really well. I'll be posting this project in the future. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next videos.